So this is the beast right here. Weighs over 30 pounds. It's a 1000-watt pure sine wave inverter with a 30-amp charger. So basically what I can do is I can plug it into 110 power and it'll charge my batteries if I lose solar power. And then I can also take, if I lose AC power, my batteries it'll be a 1000-watt inverter. But look at this box, man. They really packed this thing up nice. It's a heavy box. It's got 3 straps and protection. But if you call them back and say it showed up damaged, they're not going to call you a liar, but they're going to look at each other. This is the temperature sensor for the batteries. Some covers. Another cover. Oh man, this is big. Renogy products. This is a rebadged item that you can buy on eBay from a variety of other sellers. I couldn't find it anywhere that was a lot cheaper, so I bought this with a 10% discount, and it was about 360 bucks. I think I found it as low as 340, but I felt it was worth the extra money because Renogy has these in stock, so they got it to me real fast, and they have a reputation for decent customer service. So I just went ahead and bought it from them. 12-volt side right here. Obviously, you got your negative and positive cables. Here's your grounding terminal. You got where your battery temp sensor plugs into. There's a remote display for it, but it really doesn't do much. It just lets you turn it on and off, and I think it shows you maybe the voltage. I didn't buy it. It was $89, so I'll keep my eye open on eBay to see if I can get that cheaper. One cool thing, it does have an auto generator start feature. So if I had a generator that was able to start itself, I could hook these together, and then when it sensed my battery voltage reached whatever the set point is, it would start the generator up and then recharge the batteries, which is pretty cool. You got some dip switches here, so you can change some functions of the unit, and I got to look up and see what those are specifically because I just don't know off the top of my head. One of the interesting dip switch settings is that you can tell it to select between AC priority and battery priority. So right now you can see it's showing that an AC source is detected charging, and what I did is I switched it from battery priority, which tells the unit to take current from batteries first, and then when the batteries get down too low, it'll switch to AC if one is detected. And then the other choice is AC mode, where it will run strictly off of AC, and then if you lose AC power, it'll switch to battery mode. So that's pretty cool. One feature that's pretty neat is this little dial that we're looking at right there. It's a selector switch that allows you to tell the unit what kind of batteries you're using. So then it will know exactly what kind of voltage to put out to it. So you can choose between gel, AGM, sealed lead acid, flooded lead acid. There's a couple more, so pretty nifty. This little chart on the exterior cabinet of the inverter indicates different battery styles, but the real important information is it shows your boost voltage and float voltage. So I'm using lead acid batteries, and it says 14.8, 13.8, but I actually went to Trojan's website, and for my batteries it runs 14.6 and 13.5. So actually setting number 3, AGM2, is closer to what my manufacturer recommends than what that chart shows. So I went and put it on AGM2 to get my voltages a little closer to what the manufacturer. 20-volt side of the unit. You got a GFCI socket right here, a couple of circuit breakers, and then underneath this cover is where I'm going to have to hardwire in the wiring so that I can have a 120-volt input to run the charger. And what I think I'm going to do is just put a short pigtail on there, and then I'll run an extension cord to the wall or wherever I need to, because if I would need to run it out to the generator, I can do that. It just gives me some flexibility. Today I'm going to be setting up my inverter charger and my charge controller into this space right here. Now, this is the bench
that's up against this wall that was part of the settee in the camper. And what I want to do is I'm going to take some 2x4s, and I'm going to, I made a big shadow, but I'm going to put them where these brackets are to provide support, and then I'm going to run another one in between there so I can mount the inverter and the charge controller to it. The inverter weighs about 35 pounds, and that's really more than I want to hang on this wall, especially since I already have stuff hanging on the wall. So we're going to be cautious. I have 3 2x4s behind here now supporting the weight of this down to the ground. And I've of course attached my facade to the 2x4s to cover up the 2x4s. Now I made this template of the inverter, because that inverter is pretty dang heavy. So what I'm going to do is use this to position it where I need it on the wall and make my holes so that when I go to hang it, I'm not struggling. And I didn't even swear one time, which is, you know, progress for me. And here we are, put back together. This is my Chinese MPP charge controller and the MT50 that comes with it, which is kind of a crappy display. That whole charge controller I'd like to replace if I could, but you know, budget right now. Another weak spot in this whole setup is this circuit breaker. I'm having a heck of a time finding a circuit breaker that can take a 3/8 lug of the something that you'd stick on a 1 to 2 watt size cable. So I'm not using as big a cable as I would like, just because I can't get a bigger cable on that circuit breaker, and I can't find another circuit breaker that doesn't you know, it's not like a couple $100 to do the job. So eventually I'm going to have to upgrade that guy right there. And then this is a neat piece right here. The inverter does not come with any display. So I bought this on Amazon, and it is like somewhere between 14 and 16 bucks. And it comes with the shunt, so I can actually see how much power I'm using. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the inverter on. I got my laptop plugged into it right now, so it should start drawing some power. I've been running my laptop off of this inverter for, I want to say, almost 2 weeks now. So on the right hand side you can see the 6,800 watt hours is how much energy I've consumed through the inverter. That's all been generated from the solar panels on top of the camper. And then on the top right, 6.26, that's how many amps my laptop is pulling at 12 volts, or 12.93. And then you can see on the bottom left how many watts. So it's just doing the math for you. Pretty cool for 16 bucks. I ran my batteries down to about 12 volts just to test out the charger. You can see by this indicator light that the charger is in the boost stage, and you can hear the fan running inside the unit, which unless I had put a huge load on the inverter, I hadn't heard that turn on. Now there's a button right here, and it takes a pretty small screwdriver. What I can do with this is I can adjust the amperage going to the batteries. So right now I have 12.4, close to 13 amps going into the battery, and there's a little gauge right here that shows you how to adjust this knob for how much power to put through. So right now that's 75%, and if I twist it to the left here closer to 100, the amperage will go up and you can hear the fan increase. So now I'm pushing 23 amps into the battery. Unfortunately, my little gauge doesn't read current flow in both directions, so I had to hook up my multimeter to see how much amperage I have in there. Sorry for the shakiness, I'm doing this by hand because I can't get the tripod in here. So I'm going to adjust the amps back down using that little button.